All right, good afternoon and welcome everybody. My name is Ryan Sheverini. I'll be serving as your MC. A nice young lady to my right from Poland asked if I was in the Army. I wish. I'm not that brave. I am on television on ABC7 and Windy City Live, Windy City Weekend now. And ABC, we are proud supporters of the USO, so it's my honor to be here today with you. In partnership with the Union League Club of Chicago, the Illinois National Guard, and the Consulate General of the Republic of Poland in Chicago is honored to present Illinois to Poland Strength in Connections. And today we'll recognize and celebrate the bonds of two nations that have been forged over the last 30 years through a unique state partnership program between Illinois, the Illinois National Guard, and the Republic of Poland. Honestly, I can't think of a better place to hold this ceremony than right here in Chicago, because as many of you know, Chicago has the largest Polish population outside of Poland, which is always a fun fact for your friends and family. Yeah, you can give that a round of applause. The proud history and heritage of the Polish-American community in Chicago dates back to the early 19th century and the establishment of Chicago as a settlement. Since that time, Chicago's vibrant Polish-American community has contributed greatly to the cultural fabric and demographic landscape of not only this diverse city, but also the state of Illinois, by influencing the arts and education, business and government, social services, and scientific and technological advances. The rich history created by Illinois to Poland is even more meaningful overseas. Through its unique partnership, the state of Illinois supports NATO and its allies to secure a lasting peace in Europe and North America. From the prairies of Illinois to the fields of Western Poland, the USO has 7 centers here in our state and 5 in Poland, all with a vital mission: to keep the brave men and women who are serving cared for and connected to loved ones back home. Today you're going to hear from our distinguished speakers, and we're even going to take you live to Poland using modern technology. But first, representing the Union League Club of Chicago and one of its 3 military support organizations, the Chicago 502, please welcome Mrs. Jan Donatelli.
Welcome and thank you all for coming today. I represent the Union League Club of Chicago as a member of one of the club's 3 military support organizations, the Chicago 502. For those not familiar with the Chicago 502, the organization has been around since 2001 and raises money to support the soldiers and families of the U.S. Army's 502nd Infantry Regiment, which is an element of the 101st Airborne Division stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. We are so proud of the work we do to support the brave men and women of the 502nd, especially most recently during their deployment to Eastern Europe to deter the expansion of the conflict in Ukraine. As a U.S. Navy veteran, I'm well aware of the strategic importance of strong military-to-military partnerships. A partnership is a promise, an obligation made to a friend or group of friends to assist them in times of peace as well as during times of crisis. In an ever-changing world where new threats and new competitors, especially from China and Russia, are seeking to overturn the current global order, under these security challenges, we must build new and strengthen existing relationships with our partners that will enhance our mutual collective security. The relationship between the Illinois National Guard and the Republic of Poland is a prime example of a partnership that deters aggression. I'm also aware of the importance and value of the work done every single day by the USO in supporting our men and women of the armed forces, both at home and abroad. Over its long history, the USO has brought a feeling of home to the men and women in uniform stationed overseas. From its airport lounges to its special event concerts with popular entertainers around the globe, the USO has always placed an emphasis on making life better for our military service members and their families. My own father had the privilege of escorting Bob Hope during one of his tours in Vietnam, and Dad always had the best things to say about the USO and their effect on troop morale. And finally, it is our hope that the partnership established between the Illinois National Guard and the Republic of Poland continues for another 30 years, and the USO continues alongside our men and women in uniform in support of our partnership to deter aggression in Eastern Europe. Thank you, and God bless.
All right, thank you so much, Mrs. Donatelli. Now at this time, I would kindly ask that you please rise if you are able. The Illinois National Guard 144th Band presents the national anthems from both the United States and the Republic of Poland, and we are honored to have two talented vocalists representing our nations. Polish-American soprano, Monika Sakro, she will sing the Polish national anthem, and American vocalist, Wally Swatley, he will sing the United States national anthem. we are official. Great voices, by the way. We are honored to have with us, oh, you could be seated, I'm sorry. There we go. We're honored to have with us today our featured keynote speakers, Major General Richard R. Neely, 40th Adjunct General and Commander of the Illinois National Guard, and Dr. Paweł Zizak, PhD Consulate General of the Republic of Poland in Chicago. Also with us today, several distinguished guests and military leaders. Please hold your applause until I'm done reading all of the names, and then we'll give them a nice warm ovation. Major General Alex Fink, U.S. Army, Chief of Army Enterprise Marketing. Major General Richard Hayes, U.S. Army retired, 39th Adjunct General and Commander of the Illinois National Guard. Major General William L. Enyart, U.S. Army retired, 37th Adjunct General and Commander of the Illinois National Guard. Major General David C. Harris, U.S. Army retired, 35th Adjunct General and Commander of the Illinois National Guard. Mr. Bernard L. Alsbury, Mayor of Hazel Crest, Illinois, and U.S. Army veteran. Mrs. Jan Donatelli, who you met earlier, Union League Club of Chicago and the Chicago 502. Mr. John Schwan, Chairman, Armed Forces Council of Chicago. Mr. Terry Hendrickson, past President of the Union League Club of Chicago. Mr. Bill Nissen, Chairman of the USS Rickover Commissioning Committee. Mr. James Robiszewski, President of the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America. Mr. Frank Spula, President of the Polish National Alliance and President of the Polish American Congress. Dr. Lucia Mirowska Kopecz, I practiced that a lot, President of the Alliance of Polish Clubs in the U.S. You thought Cheverini was complicated. Mrs. Anna Tukiendorf, Vice President, External Affairs, Polish American Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Don Cook, Chairman of the USO Midwest Regional Advisory Board. And Mr. Jim Evans, Chairman of the USO Illinois Advisory Board. Please give them a round of applause. Today's theme of connection is well met by the USO and its mission to support service members and their families. Last year, it provided connection to family, home, and country more than 10 million times. The USO is present at over 250 locations around the globe. And here to tell us a little bit more about the impact the USO is making is Regional President of the Midwest, Allison Rubel.
Dzień dobry. Good afternoon. I hope I got that right. Thank you all for joining us today. And for that warm welcome, Jan. Thank you for sharing that story. What a terrific group we have gathered here today, and it is truly an honor to stand before you on behalf of the USO and welcome you, especially to our Polish American friends here today. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to recognize our distinguished Major General, former or previous Adjutant Generals of the Illinois National Guard, Major General Hayes, Major General Enyart, and Major General Harris. Sir, all three of you, thank you so much for being here. And I will say over the years, my 2 decades with the USO, it's always a particular pleasure to see the familiar faces you've seen over the years with the National Guard. So thank you for being here. As a nonprofit organization, volunteers and community are the backbone to our mission, and I'd like to recognize all of the USO Board of Governors and Advisory Board members present with us here today. Your leadership and steadfast support sustain us. Thank you. And today's event is really the product of partnership and teamwork, and it would not have been possible without the shared vision and dedicated support of a group of people which I'd like to recognize. And I want to start with Jeff Gray, Director of Public Affairs here at the Union League Club of Chicago. Also, Nicole Cleese and the staff here that have helped us put this together. Thank you so much. I want to call out the team of the Office of the Consulate of the Republic of Poland here in Chicago. Sir, your team, Agata Gruchowska, Greta Sobolewska, and Anna Rziewski have been amazing, phenomenal team members. So a round of applause for your staff here today. I want to recognize all of our USO staff teammates that are here with us today, with special leadership from Kara Huber, Jill Sullivan, Amy DeSanto, Tess Fagan, and Christopher Schmidt, who's Executive Director for the Illinois area. So round of applause for our USO team. Thank you so much. Well done. Finally, the Illinois Guard, Illinois National Guard State Partnership Program and their team, Major Anthony McLean, Captain Crystal Rodriguez, and Staff Sergeant Joshua Woody. Thank you all for being here today. Really a round of applause for them. And keep it going for the 144th Illinois National Guard Band and our amazing vocalists. One more time, thank you so much. It was a very cold and blustery January afternoon when Don Cook and I set off for a meeting at the office of Consul Zizek. But upon our arrival, we were immediately greeted so warmly by the consulate and his staff, the Chicago winter melted away. We were greatly aided by Major General Richard Neely, and who had not only attended the meeting, but provided valuable insights and guidance on the rich history, close connection, and shared values between our two nations. Over coffee and the best Polish chocolate and mineral water that I've ever had, much like a USO center, we had great hospitality. Don and I quickly learned how important the 30 years of partnership between Illinois and Poland has been, and why, especially now, as we stand with our NATO allies and the people of Poland and Ukraine, its success is more remarkable than ever. That meeting and subsequent important conversations with Major General Neely and Consul Zizek provided the inspiration for our celebration today. Right now, throughout Eastern Europe, there are over 100,000 American service members either deployed or permanently stationed in Europe. The USO is there, with 5 locations in Poland alone, supporting and keeping the men and women who are serving strong and connected to loved ones back home. The USO is the only military support organization uniquely positioned to deliver scalable impact in Eastern Europe. Our USO impact in Eastern Europe includes over 300,000 times that we have supported service members since January of 2022, over 35,000 care packages delivered, Wi-Fi signals, call stations, and we have delivered 800 USO reading program moments for service members to reach their children back at home when they are deployed. As USO military presence continues to increase, our footprint in Eastern Europe, the USO is mounting a major increase in delivery of service to align with this expansion to support our US forces in Eastern Europe, right along with our NATO allies and partners, and this includes Poland. Just this week, the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee released its fiscal year 2024 National Defense Authorization Act. We are deeply honored to receive special recognition in the Senate report, recognizing the exceptional morale-boosting support that the USO has been providing to our service members in Eastern Europe. The report described in some detail the USO's activities in the region and stated that these USO programs help ensure that Americans deployed abroad never feel forgotten by their family, friends, and country. And as I've been getting more closely acquainted with the Polish community and the great work of Consul Zizek and the staff here in Chicago, I can truly say that that ethos of care for others, for family and friends, is embodied in the people of Poland. And so in many ways, it is no surprise that we are standing here today celebrating 30 years of connections between Illinois, Chicago, and Poland. In a short while, we'll be hearing some important perspectives from our guest speakers. And I want to again thank Major General Neely and Consul Zizek for their leadership and their time and support for today. Before we break for lunch, we'd like to share a short video on the USO's work and impact in Poland. You'll see some images of our USO Center in Powidz, You'll actually hear from folks in Powóz later today, where Polish forces, NATO forces, are also welcome into the USO centers to receive hospitality, connection, and support, and a serious lift of morale. In 2022 alone, the USO provided more than 10 million of these acts of support globally throughout the world through over 250 USO centers and literally thousands of outreach programs. I want to thank you once again for joining us. We will have a video and we will enjoy lunch together. But thank you so much for being here today. And I want to thank again our Polish American friends that are with us today and leadership. Enjoy.
Well, hey, thank you all for joining us. Again, what an incredible crowd here today. And, you know, we talk about the theme today about really making connections. And this group is really representative of this connections. I look at my table of my previous bosses, all the adjutant generals over here, and what they brought to the years and years of our state partnership program. And I look at good friends like Allison Rubel, was really the driver behind today, pulling us all together. We've worked together for many years and just been here. And so today is just really a wonderful day to join all of you and to celebrate. And we talk about the state partnership program, this connection between the Illinois National Guard and the Polish military, right? This started out, you know, for those, most of you know this, but I'm going to say it for those that might be in the room that don't. I mean, this state partnership program concept really started out in the early 1990s when 13 countries came out behind the Iron Curtain. It came out out of the Warsaw Pact. And the State Department said, hey, how do we help these countries not only modernize, but how do we help their militaries? How do we bring them along to some of our Western values as these new democracies were being developed? And the initial idea was, hey, let's align them with an active duty brigade. And of course, some said, well, that would really frustrate or intimidate the Russians, and so we couldn't do that. And that was quickly turned away, but the concept came up of, hey, let's align them with the National Guard states. First, the National Guard's not going to intimidate Russia, right? Even though, I don't know, we could give them a good run for their money. The National Guard has leadership with the adjutant generals that report to the governors, elected officials, much like these emerging democracies and their generals. And the National Guard, in some cases, the states are almost about the same size as some of the European countries that they were aligning with. And so the thought was, hey, you know, and most importantly, we don't turn over like the active duty does. So relationships could be built long term. And these gentlemen over here at this table to the left were about relationships at the presidential level, at the most senior general officers level. And that's what I've been blessed to be able to serve in the last 4.5 years as this relationship's developed. And this partnership that started out with 13 countries 30 years ago has grown into over 100 partnerships. This year we'll have 100 partnerships with the National Guard throughout the world, partnered with different countries of the world. Because the State Department and the interagency really saw the credible significance of that partnership. And in fact, inside our national defense strategy, inside our national security strategy, partnership is the key term, right? If you have friends, you don't need to build bigger militaries. And we're seeing that on the stage at NATO across Lithuania just this week. So today it's just amazing to talk about our relationship. The Illinois National Guard relationship with the Polish military is considered the best practice, the gold standard of all these, and we're very proud of that. To be partnered with Poland is really significant, and it comes, I'll talk about it today just a little bit, and my time's limited, but I just want to hit a few points about what happened. Of course, partnership, the hard work always starts at the bottom. It starts out with those troops, those soldiers, those leaders at the bottom that make things happen. It's like my great team over here and that band. They're our best best ambassadors for getting out and working hand in hand with our counterparts. And over the 30 years, every year we have about 350 of our soldiers and our airmen that participate in engagements with the Polish military. And over the last 30 years, over 400 bilateral engagements with the Polish military, 400, and each one of these are significant by themselves. But this relationship's just not built on many years of bilateral events. It was also born out of 15 years of combat experience, more than 15 years, in fact. The Illinois National Guard supported the Polish deployments for the global war on terror. And, really when President Bush came to the Polish president at the time when the coalition was being built and asked the question, can the Polish military join the coalition to go into Iraq? The president had said yes, with one caveat: the Illinois National Guard goes with us. And so we embedded, not just went along the side, we embedded our forces inside the Polish military for 30 different deployments with over 32,000 Polish soldiers deploying first into Iraq and then into Afghanistan. And so it's one thing to be friends, it's one thing to have coffee, it's one thing to have an engagement. It's something totally different to deploy together. Those friendships, those long-term alignments were solidified in a combat zone, fostered through trust and respect between individuals among the respective forces. And without question, our National Guard soldiers, our airmen, do all the gritty work of this partnership. Whether it's the engagements or those deployments, they work hard. But as I mentioned earlier, a lot of credit goes to the sustained success of our state partnership program because of the Illinois National Guard general officers, and particularly the adjutant generals, who were really so key to those senior level engagements. Starting with Major General Don Lynn, who established the state partnership, and then Major General Dave Harris, who's here today with us. General Harris, raise your hand. There he is, all right. General Harris's leadership was key to making sure that we were able to help Poland come up to the NATO standard and help them to attain NATO membership in 1999. And then Major General Randy Thomas and Major General Bill Enyart, who's here today with his lovely wife, Judge Eckert. There he is. Judge, can you raise your hand? There you go. Again, amazing work, because General Enyart and General Thomas put together that coalition that for those deployments during some of the heights of the war, some of the bloodiest times of the war, and worked through the hard work of putting that coalition together. General Hayes also continued those co-deployments, but also worked on the stand-up of the Territorial Defense Force in Poland, and went on and worked very diligently to help them stand up their NCO Corps. General Hayes, good to see you. However, the Illinois National Guard is only half of that partnership. The important part is to have a willing partner. And the Armed Forces of Poland was extremely engaged and an eager partner to work with. And that started at the presidential level all the way down to the most junior ranked member of the services. Polish military leaders are forward-thinking, insightful, and willing to learn. This makes collaborating and planning for future events nearly effortless when working with a team like this. In fact, the Polish leaders look to seize every opportunity for them to protect their citizens and as well as their homeland. A few examples over the years, and I'll just hit on a couple of these for the sake of time, but there's many out there, as I said. The stand-up of the Trilateral Brigade between Poland, Ukraine, and Lithuania. I mean, this is an incredible peacekeeping force that is making a difference today because of that Ukrainian ties and how we support Ukraine. Our flying unit that flew F-16s in Springfield for many years delivered the first F-16s to Poland and helped establish the first U.S. fighter aircraft in Poland. Our C-130 wing in Peoria that continues to fly C-130s today is continuing to work with the Polish military to deliver new C-130s and help them with training as well as their maintenance program. The Illinois Army National Guard established the NCO Corps as well as an NCO training center. The airmen at Springfield also helped stand up the Polish Air Operations Center. We're continuing to do cyber exchanges on a regular basis, and this year we started our first engagement in space with the Space Force and Poland. Just incredible opportunities. And as Poland begins to acquire new equipment such as F-35 HIMARS, M1 Abrams, Apaches, many weapon systems that we do not have in Illinois, we're working very diligently with other states that have those unique capabilities to make sure that they have the proper training they need, such as our friends in Idaho that have an M1 Abrams range as well as a schoolhouse to do that. But the military-to-military engagements is not where this stops. In fact, the state partnership program is used as an interlocutor to work civilian-to-civilian engagements as well. We were a very important part of the World Cup as we worked to help prepare Poland to receive the World Cup years ago. We've worked to help support an establishment of their cybercom as well as their civilian perspective on cyber. And here very recently, the President of Poland has asked the Illinois National Guard and the state of Illinois to really help with their nuclear safety program as Poland looks for energy independence by establishing a nuclear energy. And we have some incredible skills here in Illinois when it comes to nuclear power. I could go on and on with a laundry list of things, but the true test of friendship is when a friend calls in need and you answer the phone. And this happened last year after the unprovoked attack on Ukraine from Russia. And the Polish military was in high alert, including their territorial defense force. This new organization was just barely 4 years old, was developing and building the concept of what it is to be a territorial defense force, and they were quickly charged with defending the Polish border. And it was my good friend, Lieutenant General Kukula, the commander of the Territorial Defense Force at the time, that gave me a call and he said, hey, can we talk? And so we got online and we said, what can we do to help? And he quickly said, hey, if you could put a team together to help us do training, that would be incredible. And it was, the new Javelin systems they had, it was the new sniper weapons they had, as well as combat medic training. And so when a friend calls, you say yes very quickly and you get on with it. And so we were very happy to not only engage very quickly on that, but continue to engage even this year, continuing to develop those relationships with the Territorial Defense Force. Today, more than 4,500 U.S. military members are standing shoulder to shoulder with our Polish counterparts in Poland to ensure that Russia's threat to freedom, independence, and stability is waved off. Of course, when the Illinois National Guard leaves Illinois and goes anywhere else in the globe, the USO is always there. And as Allison mentioned earlier, that's very much the case in Poland. And right now it's about 7 p.m. We're going to go live here in a little bit to Poland. Right now it's about 7 p.m. in Poland, but I'm sure the 5 USO sites are full of U.S. and some Polish military. They're there to play games, have a snack, or make a phone call. And those facilities, as someone that's deployed multiple times, are so important to the morale of our troops. You saw the video earlier. Sometimes for very important reasons, we're out in very secluded and somewhat desolate areas. And so that slice of home is so important when it's brought in. And so today I know Grant McCormick's going to be online here in a little bit, but I just want to say thanks to Grant for him and his team continuing to support our soldiers that are in the field. And whether it's there in Poland or anywhere in Europe, Africa, or around the world, they're always there. In closing, I just want to take a minute as well to thank the Union League Club and thank you again, Jan, for the hospitality today of hosting such a wonderful event. Thank you to Allison and my good friend for the many years of support and friendship of the Illinois National Guard and every time we ask for help, she's there to support us. And thank you again for helping us celebrate this important time. It's really important. And of course, to the Polish consulate and the consul general, Doctor, you and your team are phenomenal. And so when this Polish military and Illinois National Guard partnership started right off, the Polish consulate stepped up right away, and they have been there at every turn to ensure that this partnership continues to move forward and continues to be highlighted and continues to get the credit it needs. And then lastly, to the Polish community, I mean, you couldn't find better friends to have. And Frank Spula, the whole team, the Polish American Congress, and all the community members, they really have wrapped their arms around the Illinois National Guard and brought us in at every turn for each of these engagements. So again, thank you for taking the time to be here today. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to any questions that you might have later. Thank you.
All right. Very nice job, Major General. Now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce the Consul General of the Republic of Poland in Chicago, Dr. Paweł Zizak.
Thank you so much. Honorable Commander of the Illinois National Guard, Major General Richard Neely, Honorable Regional President of USO Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Mr. Grant McCormick, will be probably connecting with me later. Honorable Regional President USO Midwest Region, Ms. Alison Rabel. Ms. Rabel mentioned my name, my last name many times, making me some sort of hero of this room. Actually, you are the real hero of this event. Thank you for your work. You were the main engine of the process which has led us to this exceptional event. Thank you for your work on behalf of Polish government. Dear leaders and representatives of Polish diaspora in Chicago, distinguished guests, while Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues to escalate, thousands of US troops have been deployed throughout Eastern Europe in support of their NATO allies and Ukraine. The United Service Organization is there to distribute care packages, keeping the spirits up, and to give service members a peace to rest. USO's mission is also about providing communication services to keep families connected. So it should not come as a surprise that we meet today to celebrate this most basic need, the need for human connection. The Illinois National Guard, cooperating with Poland's armed forces, the USO's support for service members throughout Eastern Europe, including Poland, and the Polish Consul General in Chicago work for Polish diaspora is just that, creating bonds between people that survive generations. The shared values and mutual understanding of these goals are the foundation of our success. When we think about human connection, 30 years is more than enough to get to know someone. It is definitely enough to become someone's close friend. And friendships cultivated through the state partnership program will last a lifetime. Through the Department of Defense and the National Guard's state partnership program with Poland and Illinois National Guard works closely with the Polish Armed Forces to conduct joint training and exchange program in areas including civil military operations, disaster response, and military medicine. The partnership grew stronger through mutual deployment of troops to Afghanistan and Iraq, or on 24 rotations. It was solidified through cooperation during the pandemic. The current war in Ukraine shows us how important role the Illinois National Guard has in both training Ukraine's military and working to resolve the humanitarian crisis on Poland's border caused by Russia's barbaric and genocidal invasion of Ukraine. I believe that the Illinois National Guard and the Polish Armed Forces are working for the betterment of men, and then this State Partnership Program is truly about creating a lasting bond between soldiers through the support of the transfer of knowledge and its understanding, and with that knowledge, the responsibility for the other person. The goal of the program was, and ultimately is, to build stronger relationships and enhance security in the Euro-Atlantic region. But 3 decades later, the partnership turned to friendship. We are sure that friendship will also empower Polish diaspora in the Midwest. And when Polish Americans succeed in life or in public life, Poland prospers. We count on them. We count on the return support of the Polish community for our Polish-American alliance to make this alliance even stronger. Oh, I'm convinced that there is no limit to improvement in this matter. And to all our friends who helped bring this beautiful crowd together, I have only 2 words, or maybe 4 words. Thank you. God bless.